Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Des. The channel name is Desi May. I don't know even know how I came up with that, but Desi May. My name is Destiny or Des. Welcome back to Part Conversations. I actually have a topic this time. It's loving yourself versus loving others. It is capacity, accountability, and acceptance. So that is my title. I got like three other ones, and this one just called out to me because I'm currently going through it right now. And I was like, why not talk about it since you're going through it? So we're going to start with loving yourself. Loving yourself is so hard. And I feel like it's hard because you deal with yourself every day. And when you deal with yourself every day, you just get tired of it. So when somebody says love yourself, you're like, another thing I have to do because I'm trying to take care of myself. I'm trying to eat. I'm trying to sleep. I'm trying to work and get this money up. I'm trying to go out and have fun. Now you telling me I gotta love myself too? Like you be want to crash out low key, and I feel like you want to crash out too if you don't know how to love yourself, and nobody tells you like how to do it. And if they do, it's not a one size fits all. Like everybody's journey is different and everybody's needs are different. So when you're loving yourself and somebody tells you like, "Oh, this is what I do," don't take it automatically because you are a different person. So bringing capacity into this, everybody's capacity is different. Everybody's baseline is different. Some people, when we're going to talk about self hate, when you hate yourself, your low can be like at a zero, somebody's low can be at a negative 10, and some people's low are in the trenches. So the capacity to for self hate, there is a capacity, and there's also a capacity for loving yourself. Some people loving themselves is taking time for themselves. Some people loving themselves means I don't know why I always go to milkshakes. It's getting themselves a milkshake, journaling. We're gonna do that. Journaling, talking it out, giving yourself like a spa day or something like that. But the capacity is different. But we're talking about ourselves. But to get to that point, you have to take a second to dive into who you are as a person. In this process, I'm not gonna hold you. It's not gonna happen overnight. Some things are easier to get into. So you may be like, oh, I feel like this today because I had to go into Walmart or something. You know you don't like going to Walmart. And some things takes time. Like some people may trigger you and you're like, why am I triggered? At least you identified as such, but you don't know where that came from. So it's a journey. It's not gonna happen overnight. But I will say that it's okay. I'm gonna keep saying that throughout the video. It is okay. You may feel like you're doing something wrong or it's not going how you planned. I promise you, that is all part of the journey with loving yourself. I will say for me to but the journey to loving myself, one thing I told myself I wanted to do is look in the mirror for 5 minutes. I can either say something or I don't, but just look at myself for 5 minutes because I took the time to realize that I don't like looking at myself, especially when I'm feeling icky or I'm in that self hate bucket. I do not like to look at myself. And to get me to dive deeper into what's going on with myself, I said, I'm going to look in the mirror. And some people don't like that. Some people don't like whether that's literally or metaphorically looking in the mirror because they see things they don't like. And with your self love journey, people think it's all like bright and beautiful, which it is, and happy. But you are going to see the ugly, cracked, disoriented parts of yourself, and you have to love that too. Okay, you have to love all of you, no matter which form you're in. You have to love it. And like I said, I'm going to keep reassuring you that is okay. I looked in the mirror and I hated everything. And I'm like, no, this is not what it's supposed to be like. You're supposed to be looking at it and loving it. I hated it. I still kind of hate it, but I've come to an agreement with myself that I can't change that. Some things you can change, but some things you can't change, and I have to accept that. Okay, I have to understand that this is me, and I can't I can't do anything about it. That's me, babe, and I had to love myself through it all. And so I'm gonna try to segue into accountability because I literally skipped over there and went into acceptance, but that's okay. But being accountable for the things that you do, and it can be hard, especially when you're on your self love journey because you're like, oh, I'm like this because somebody did this, which is true. I'm not gonna say nobody did nothing to you, but you also have to be accountable for yourself because you can only control yourself. So I feel as though it's easy to hold other people accountable because you have all the receipts, you know every single thing that they did, you know how the events led up and the outcomes and things of that nature. But when it comes to yourself, it can be a little tricky just because you don't want to seem like the bad guy, like I did wrong. I couldn't have done it wrong. I'm the victim. And true as it may be, you are a victim to people's like actions and behaviors and the things that they do, but we can't control other people. You can control yourself. And I feel like with your self-love journey or loving yourself, you have to be accountable for what you can and cannot do. And what you can do is focus on yourself, focus on your healing, focus on what you got to do to improve yourself and not improve yourself to like be better in society, which is good. I ain't gonna hold you, but you want to be a different person. You want to be a lighter person, and to do that, you have to be honest and accountable for the things you do, say, think to some degree. But you just overall have to be accountable for what you can control for yourself. So I'm gonna use an example. So crash out has been infamous for a lot of things just because people crash out about a lot of things. And so the thing about it is when you crash out, you really don't care about what comes after because you're literally crashing out. But I will say if you are on this self-love journey to loving yourself, if you're going to crash out, which is warranted, do not bottle your emotions up, do not bottle it in. It makes the crash out worse. But you have to be accountable for what comes after that. So I'm not saying don't express yourself, don't release what's inside of you, but just be have a little anchor in the back of your head like, okay, if I go blow their tires out and I get caught, just be ready for the consequences. That's all I'm saying. And so I'm gonna move on to acceptance. So accepting yourself, accepting who you are, accepting what can be changed and what cannot be changed, and also accepting the consequences. We cannot time travel. I literally just watched somebody do a gameplay of this game, and the person was trying to go back in time, and they did, but at a certain point they couldn't do it no more. But still, we cannot time travel and redo the things, and we can't keep ruminating about the shoulda, coulda, wouldas is not gonna do anything, babe. So you have to, and it's gonna take time because some things are harder to accept than others. Somebody did some heinous ass shit to you, and somebody's like, just accept it, babe. I got the blueprint in the back. I'm ready to go. So some things you just can't accept in the moment, and that is okay. But to a certain degree, accepting you can accept parts of it. Like I accept that I couldn't do anything in that moment. I accept that I reacted this way, or I accept that I can no longer continue this relationship because of A, B, C, something like that. So here I am reassuring you, it is a process. It's a process that I'm currently in. I'm accepting parts. Like each step is not like I don't know what you call it. Like, oh, you complete this, then you complete this, then you complete this. It's not like that. You're literally going in and out, in and out. And that's why I said, oh, let me try to, because I skipped over accountability and went to acceptance. So sometimes you understand your capacity. Like, okay, I can't look at myself in the mirror, or I can look at myself in the mirror, but it's only for like 30 seconds. And then you're like, okay, and then you're accountable like, okay, I self sabotage. So I understand my capacity for looking in the mirror is 30 seconds. I want to build up to 5 minutes. So it's not going to happen overnight. So I have to be accountable in acknowledging, like, okay, I have to take the steps. I have to be consistent or persistent. I can't remember which one, but be consistent with that. I have to not eat junk food because I know junk food makes me feel worse. And so when I do look in the mirror, it's really something I don't like. And then I have to accept the fact that I'm new to this. Everybody is new to any type of journey, hence a journey because you're starting something new. Now, it does get easier over time with you. This is something new. So I have to accept the fact I've never done this before. I've never been this low before. I never had this experience happen to me. So you have to accept the fact that you're not going to have all the answers. You're not going to get through a situation as quickly as you thought you were. Like, all of it is literally how I can imagine it is like this. You're in something, you're coming back out, you're in it again, you're coming back out. It's literally just a journey. Like, that's the best way I can explain it. So, when it comes to loving others, this is really tricky because, like how I said in the beginning, everybody has a different capacity. Everybody is on a different journey. So when you meet somebody, you may feel you're behind. You know, you feel like you are, let's say, on step number 5 and people are on step 100. You can meet somebody and they're like all the way in negative 100, negative 5. They're behind you. Or you may meet somebody and they're like at step 10 or step 20. But with that, you have to understand, going back to capacity, people have different capacities for how they love themselves. Some people speak down on themselves, and you don't do that. Like, that's not something you do. When it comes to accountability, some people do not hold themselves accountable. Same way you might not hold yourself accountable. You shouldn't expect some other people to, even though it would be good if people did. But if you know that you're not holding yourself accountable, why think somebody else is gonna hold themselves accountable? So it's like you have to come with a level of understanding of that. So people's capacities are different. People's level of accountability varies. And then with acceptance, a lot of people do not want to accept, okay? A lot of people don't want to accept a lot of things. Um, and so some people, like I said, don't. It's easier to hold people accountable. It's easier to try to make people accept things because you're like, oh, this happened, they did this, you did that, so you should just accept it. If you know you're not gonna accept the things that you have to do and what has been done, what makes you think somebody else is gonna have that same, like, or gonna have like an openness to it? Like, yeah, you're right, some people are open-minded, but just let's just be realistic. If you know you can't be realistic with yourself, and that's okay, we're working on it, then what makes you think other people are gonna be willing and open-minded to what they have going on? So like I said, it's just a level of understanding that you have to have with loving them. And I should have added grace in it, because when you're loving somebody and you understand that they are at a different level of capacity, accountability, and acceptance, you have to give them grace. And I'm not saying give everybody, I'm trying to figure out how to word this, because some situations where you meet somebody, let's say they're behind you in the capacity, accountability, and acceptance, they can drag you down. That energy can drag you down. So yes, give them grace, but you have to be realistic, honest, and open with yourself. Do I want to continue with this person or with this group or with this activity? Because if you are trying to pull yourself out, how can you pull somebody else out? And I'm not saying that it's a matter of strength and just leaving everybody behind who's behind you, but you have to be honest with yourself. So I should have added honesty and grace, because if it's hard for me to pull myself out, it's gonna be hard for me to try to pull somebody else out. So it's just a matter of being like giving them grace. Like, I understand what you are capable of. I understand what you are going through. However, comma, I know what I'm going through. I know how I feel, and I can't bring pull myself back trying to pull you up. And I will say, with loving others, they also are a mirror. So, say you believe that you are a solid 50 in your self love journey. You did some work. You're doing what you need to do. You're being accountable. You're accepting, things as they come and go. And then you meet somebody and they do something, say something, they just something, and it triggers you. At that moment in time, you're like, okay, what do I do? Some people don't know that it happened till later. You think about something like when you get home, you're like, they said that, or I feel like this after being with them. But people are a mirror and they show you things. And then your 50 may go down to a 25 and you might psych out because you're like, what happened? I was at a 50, now I'm at a 25. I must have did something wrong. Baby, you did nothing wrong. I promise you did nothing wrong. And when you kind of go through that mini crisis, you're going through a lot of things, and it could make it harder depending on the trigger. But I will say, taking a necessary break, like a timeout, um, to kind of figure out what's going on. And do not doubt yourself. Do not doubt yourself. We all kind of, everything is a moving scale, nothing is constant. And I had this mentor, and she was saying, loving yourself is kind of like a milestone. Like, you're gonna elevate, you're gonna go up, but each one is like a different set of like, it's just a new arena. If Lordy have mercy. It's a new arena. So you're higher than you were before, but you're in a new like arena, a new playground. I hate to say playground because nobody wants to be playing around with their demons for real. But you're in a new situation. Let's say that you're in a new situation. So do not beat yourself up. Do not question if you're doing anything wrong. Literally, this is how it works, and it gets easier and it also get harder, but do know that you have the skills equipped to get through it. It may not seem like, I promise you, I've been in predicaments where I'm like, I was literally at 110, now I'm at 10. What is going on right now? And my therapist, she said to acknowledge the tools that you have because you have them and you're getting yourself out of, that energy situation, whatever is going on. So you're doing great, babe. You're doing great. And I'm gonna touch on loving others um again. But with loving others, it also mirrors your capacity, your level of accountability, and what you're willing and not willing to accept. So that's why I said you meet people and they are literally a mirror. And depending on what you see, it can trigger you. So you may meet somebody and they mirror all the good parts of you. You're open minded, they're open minded. They're nurturing, you're nurturing. um and other good qualities I can't think of at the moment. But you can also meet somebody and they mirror you, and they mirror your agitation, they mirror your self-hate, they mirror the doubt and just all this negativity, and that can be hard to deal with. And so loving others literally reflects the capacity, the level of accountability, and what you are willing and not willing to accept. And that's why I said I should have added honesty and grace into it, because you can, and we always want to be higher than what we feel, and that's okay. That's the ego trying to protect us. But we may say, "Oh, I'm a 10. Like, I'm good. I'm a baddie." I don't know why I said that. And you meet somebody, and your capacity for loving yourself just stoop down to a 2. You thought you hold yourself accountable, like you check yourself. You meet somebody and you can't even hold them accountable for what they said to you, because they said some sly past you, and you just like, you're brushing it off. And then they do with that, they say something or they do something, and you're just like, it's okay. You just accept the fact, knowing that if somebody else would have did it, you wouldn't have let that slide. So loving yourself and loving others are like this. They are mirrors. They are two sides to the same coin. And so I hope I made sense because I was trying not to shed some tears because, like I said, I am literally going through this topic as we speak. Like it's hitting real hard today. So yeah, you have to be honest. You're like, okay, I am accepting these things from people. I want to accept for myself. I'm not holding people accountable knowing that I would hold myself accountable, and then they are literally blowing past my capacity to handle BS, knowing that I wouldn't take an inch of that. So you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to remove yourself from that because, like I said, their energy impacts yours. So give yourself grace and be like, I love them, I love it, or whatever it is you love, but you have to love yourself more. You have to love yourself more. It doesn't mean you don't love them. It doesn't mean you don't love it or whatever the situation is, but you have to love yourself more. You have to give yourself more because you can only control yourself. You can only control yourself. So I hope that all made sense. I love talking, but at a certain point, I'm like, did I even connect anything together? But I hope it it hit home for people, and I mean that in the sense of like, I genuinely care about you. I love you, and I want you to be happy. And if you're not happy, that is okay because you're just at a part of your journey where you are in this bucket, and if you got in that bucket, you can get out that bucket. So I hope this conversation was meaningful. I hope you can take something from it. What if it's like an inch or the whole thing? Doesn't matter. I just hope you all gain something from it. If you are comfortable enough to share like your thoughts, your feelings about it, please let me know. Because I want to hear. Like I like feedback, and everybody's journey is different. Like I said, I look at myself in the mirror for 5 minutes. If somebody could do something that helps them, then it could help me, or it could help. The mirror thing for 5 minutes could help somebody else. So please just share like any tips, a short story of you like going through this journey in and out, through, up, down, whatever the case may be. Nice talking to you, babe. I always forget to introduce myself. I think I already did. Hi, my name. Hi, my name is Destiny. It's nice to meet you, babe. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's nice to meet you. I'm glad we stayed and chatted for however long. That's okay. We got some goodies out of it. But I hope to see you in my next part car conversation. We can talk about whatever, babe. Can we? Well, I got some topics for us to talk about. Let's say that. And I love to hear what you got to say. Okay? Because I love listening. I love talking. Cast out the bag. I'm a yapper. Okay. I love to yap. I'm sorry, not sorry. That is something I've come to accept about myself. I love talking and not like a airhead talk, but I love sharing my ideas. Let's say that. So I accept that. I love that about myself. It took some capacity because I literally would record on my iPad to myself, and I was like, I want to express myself more. I feel like expressing myself is part of my self love journey. And so I said to do that, I have to be know my capacity, which was just the iPad, but I want to build that capacity. And I said, okay, I'm going to do a YouTube channel. Do and record videos on YouTube. And I said to do that, you have to get the things you need. So that means, saving my money for a microphone or writing my ideas out so I can actually have something to talk about. Um, posting it, editing it, like being accountable, like the things I said I was gonna do. and accepting the fact that this is new. I'm not gonna get 1.5 billion views on a video. I'm not doubting myself, but if you're just starting out, you gotta be realistic with yourself and be and be honest with yourself. I know that I'm new to this, and so there are some challenges I'm gonna have to go through with self doubt, with nitpicking and being a perfectionist. And I have to be gracious with myself. Like, this is new, and you're gonna go through all the things that newness comes with, and it's a learning curve as well. So that is just an example of me on my self learning journey in the sector of self expression and creativity. So it was nice to meet you, babe. I love you. You got this. I promise you do. You're not alone. Not alone in this. Ask for help if you need it. Um, we love you. I love you. You love yourself because you're willing to put the work in. It's hard, but you love yourself. You don't hate yourself. You love yourself. And I hope to see you in our next conversation. Okay? Bye, baby.